Hello there, this is Dr. Ellis, and I just want to give you a warm welcome to CPH 603. In this video, we're going to just look a little bit about how the Canvas shell is organized and talk about ways to succeed in the course. So the very first thing I want to do is give you an introduction to the Canvas shell and show you the best ways to navigate it. So when you first open up the course in Canvas, you should see this welcome screen. Now on this welcome screen, if you scroll down, there's lots of good information. Now one thing that I will say in this video, this will look slightly different than yours. You'll notice there is the pink background, and I'm still working on putting the course together, so what you see may be slightly different than what you see here. Now looking on the left, we have different ways to navigate the course. Most of them are fairly obvious what they are. The first one here is syllabus. So of course you can click through here and look through the course syllabus, which I highly recommend doing. Modules is where you're going to spend most of your time in the course, and so I'll talk about that more here in just a little bit. Discussions. Discussions are going to be the place where you ask questions about the course. So for each of the weeks in the course, there is a different discussion board that has been set up. And so anytime that you have a question, you can just click on that week's material to ask the question. So please do make sure to click on the corresponding week. This is going to be really beneficial because if you have a question and you click on, let's say, Module 1 material, it may be that someone else has already asked that question, I've already answered it, and so that way you don't have to wait for a response. On the other hand, if you're the first one to ask the question, then other students with that same question can come here and benefit from the answer. So I'm going to ask that any questions about content, I am going to ask that you post those to the discussion board. When you post those questions, I do get an alert, so it will let me know right away that you've asked that question, and I will go in there and answer it. Now, of course, if you have any questions about grades or questions that you don't want posted so that other students can see it, please feel free to email me those questions. The other thing that I'm going to ask is please do not use the message section in Canvas. If you use the message section in Canvas, I don't always get those as alerts. So the very best way to contact me is going to be via email. The other thing that I would like you not to do is once work is graded in the Grade Center, please do not leave comments on your graded work. Canvas can sometimes take up to a week to send me those comments. So again, if you have any questions about grading, for any reasons that you need to contact me or get a hold of me, please send me an email. That is the very best way to make sure that I answer any questions that you may have. And then of course this bottom section here, looking back at our navigation, is grades. That's where you're going to find all of your grades for the course. So let's click on modules, which is going to be the most important section. The course is divided into modules. There will be one module for each week. So for example, notice that Module 1 takes place January 25th through the 29th. Work will always be due the following Monday. So all of the work located inside of Module 1 will be due Monday at midnight following January 25th. All right, so if you scroll down here, I have a couple different of the modules posted already. So let's talk about the best way to navigate the coursework and to make sure that you don't miss any assignments. So we're going to start here in Module 1. Each of the modules will start with an introduction that has the objectives, and this will just be a quick lecture video from me. These will typically be about 5 minutes long, if that, just talking about what to expect this week and what to look for. Now, to navigate from the different pages within a module, you can do one of two things. You can click on Module again and access the different pages by clicking on them individually, just like we did with the Module 1 introduction. Or you can use the next tab down here, which will take you to the next page. Each of the pages, you'll see an objective up at the top. You'll see the corresponding lectures. Now here, since we're at the beginning, you're going to watch some videos just about what statistics is and why it's important, why you need to take this course. The assignments will be down here. These assignments will correspond with the lecture or content that's given up above. And then there'll always be a link, again, to that discussion section where you can ask different questions about the modules. So let's talk about different ways to access the material once you're in here. Usually you'll want to keep the lecture up as you work on the different assignments. Now this one is a little bit different since, again, this is just some introductory material. So to illustrate this, I'd like to actually go to the Module 2 material. All right, the Module 2 material. This is 2.1. Again, notice you have the objectives, you have your lecture. Now what you'll notice with the lecture is each of the lectures has what I call a video script, and you can download that by clicking there. We're going to open this into a PDF. So these are lecture notes that I have written, and with each of these is a corresponding video that you can click and watch. So what I highly recommend to do is to either print out these notes or have them handy on a tablet, and then there'll be blanks in here that you can fill out while you watch the videos. So after you've done this, there will be some different assignments for you to complete. Now this looks like a lot, but most of these are going to go fairly quickly. For example, after each of the lecture videos, or after most of them, you are going to have a quiz. Those quizzes shouldn't take you any more than probably 10 minutes. There'll also be a discussion board post, again, probably 10 to 15 minutes to complete that, and then a short worksheet. Now what I would recommend doing to access these is instead of just clicking on them, I would actually right click and open in a new tab. Oh, sorry, I haven't actually published that yet, so you can't see it, but normally you would click on that, right click, it will open in a new tab, and you'll be able to take that quiz. It's just, again, I haven't actually published that yet, so Canvas isn't letting me access it as a student. So what you can do is, once that's published and you can actually access it, you can have the quiz in one tab, your lecture notes in another, and that way you can toggle back and forth. And I recommend that for most Canvas shells. Using that right-click option and opening up different things in different tabs will make it really easy to navigate back and forth. So that's kind of the general structure of the course, and you'll see that most of the modules are structured that way. Now, you'll read about this in the syllabus, but for each of the modules, each of those worksheets or quizzes, you are expected to complete that work individually, but there will be some group work in the course in later modules, and we'll talk about that more later on. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is just a little bit about how to be successful in this course. One of the things that you'll notice if you look through the different assignments, there are no exams for this course. Instead, what I want you to do as you go through the material, I want the material to be more experiential. So you're going to read a lot of content that I've written in videos, but in addition to that, I want you to see content from other sources. So you're going to watch videos from outside sources, you're going to read blog posts that statisticians have written, you're going to look at journal articles, you're going to look at a lot of different information. And it's going to feel like you're doing a lot of small assignments, but again, keep in mind there's no exams for this course. So all of that time that you would typically spend studying for an exam, instead we're going to use that time for you to do something more constructive, and again, look at lots of different resources, different viewpoints, and things like that. So you are going to probably feel like you're doing probably more assignments that you have in some of your other classes, but again, we're making up that time because there are no exams. You're not studying for those exams. Instead, I'm going to be having you do active work, and really looking at lots of different information as well as different resources. Another reason that I like for you to look at lots of different resources is once you're past this course, I want you to realize there are other resources out there. And so by seeing some of these different resources that we look at in this course, you'll have experience going through and seeing what those resources look like and how you could access those on your own. Now, in terms of being successful in this course, you'll notice again that the modules have been broken into smaller pieces. So I would not recommend doing all of the week's work in one setting. Instead, what I would do is I would recommend tackling each of these pages in a day. So complete 2.1 maybe on a Monday, 2.2 on a Wednesday, 2.3 on a Friday. Give yourself a little bit of time in between. That's going to help your brain digest the material. It's not going to make it seem so long. And again, that's why it's broken into these smaller digestible pieces to make it easy for you to break that work down throughout the week. Because again, I don't want you to just sit down and just get through all of the work in one setting, because you're not going to digest the material as well or retain it as well that way. The other thing that I really want to suggest in being successful in this course is, since this is a fully online course, one of the most difficult things about a fully online course is keeping yourself accountable and keeping your own pace. If we met weekly together, that would help you keep pace, but you have to keep that pace on your own. So again, what I would do for each week is, at the start of the week, set goals for yourself. By the end of Tuesday, you'll have 2.1 done, and so on, and keep yourself honest with that, and that'll help you pace the work throughout the week. The last thing that you want to do is, since work is due on Monday, you do not want to start all of this work on Sunday. You want to give yourself, again, time to process and think about it, but also time to ask questions. If you don't look at the work until Sunday, that's not going to give me ample time to answer your questions. Now, let's say something happens during the week and you have to wait until Sunday. Don't feel like you can't ask me questions. I still want you asking me all those questions, but I just want this course to be as stress-free as possible for you. Speaking of that, please, I encourage you to ask me questions anytime you are confused. Use those discussion boards, send me emails. I am more than happy to help you with anything that you need help with at any time. If you find that you're spending a long time on an assignment, or you're kind of spinning your wheels, or you're unsure, that is definitely the time to send me an email. I don't ever want you sitting there, confused or struggling on an assignment. I want you asking me lots of questions. So again, everything runs really smoothly and you're able to navigate the material in a really effective, straightforward way. So again, ask me lots and lots of questions as we move through the course. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. I'm really excited to start this semester, and I hope that you are too, and I look forward to getting to work with each and every one of you during this term.